The winds of transformation sweep through Arrowhead Stadium as the Kansas City Chiefs brace for what may prove to be the most consequential campaign in modern franchise history. In the aftermath of their crushing 22-40 defeat in Super Bowl 59 at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles, the organization stands at a defining crossroads, one that will shape not only its immediate trajectory, but also the enduring legacy of one of the most electrifying quarterback-coach partnerships the NFL has ever known. The sting of that February night in New Orleans still lingers within Chiefs Kingdom, a loyal fan base long accustomed to confetti-filled parades and postseason supremacy. This loss was not a routine stumble. It was a sobering revelation that even dynasties can be exposed when the margin for error narrows to a razor's edge on football's grandest stage. Patrick Mahomes, the golden arm sorcerer once thought capable of conjuring victories from hopeless situations, suddenly faced questions rarely asked throughout his meteoric ascent. The transcendent signal caller who had rewritten the possibilities of his position now looked strikingly mortal, with production waning over consecutive seasons as the league recalibrated against his revolutionary style. Yet within the sacred corridors of the Chiefs training complex, a renewed resolve crackles through the air. From general manager Brett Veach to head coach Andy Reid, the leadership core recognizes a fundamental truth. Championship windows in the NFL are fleeting, and the moment for decisive recalibration is at hand. While statistics hint at decline, they fail to capture the essence of Mahomes' enduring brilliance, his cannon arm still otherworldly, his improvisational genius unmatched, and his ever-expanding football intellect sharpening with each snap. The foundation of greatness remains intact, awaiting the perfect alignment of talent and opportunity to be unleashed once more. Key reinforcements returning from injury embody that very alignment. Rashee Rice, the electrifying wideout who teased stardom during his rookie campaign, is fully restored and poised to give Mahomes the reliable playmaker he craves. His surgical route precision and uncanny knack for separation make him the ideal complement to Mahomes' off-script wizardry. Likewise, the resurgence of Isaiah Pacheco breathes life into the Chiefs' backfield. A bruising yet elusive force, Pacheco's relentless motor and ability to turn mundane carries into explosive gains provide Kansas City with the balance necessary to keep defenses honest. His presence transforms the offense from pass-happy to multidimensional, a nightmare scenario for opposing coordinators. Across the league, the strategic chess match intensifies. Defensive masterminds have dissected hours of Kansas City tape, crafting increasingly sophisticated blueprints designed to blunt the Chiefs' firepower. Yet, Kansas City's brain trust has countered with equal vigor. This offseason, Reid and his staff have reimagined their offensive architecture, weaving in fresh concepts and dynamic formations engineered to unlock favorable matchups even against the most meticulously prepared defenses. The arrival of rookie burner Xavier Worthy further expands the playbook. His blistering speed forces safeties to retreat, stretching defenses vertically and opening lucrative windows underneath for Mahomes' arsenal. Add to that the veteran savvy of Marquise Hollywood Brown, whose precise routes and clutch performances in high-stakes moments supply Mahomes with another trusted weapon, and suddenly the Chiefs' passing attack feels dangerous once again, layered, unpredictable, and primed for resurrection. This philosophical evolution transcends mere roster moves. It signals a fundamental rethinking of what a modern NFL offense must be. Since the Chiefs last hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, defensive innovation has accelerated at a staggering pace, forcing offensive minds to constantly evolve. Kansas City's willingness to adapt, experiment, and innovate may determine whether this next chapter becomes a renaissance or a requiem.
Kansas City's determination to ignite a more explosive offensive identity represents a deliberate gamble that could yield monumental rewards if executed with precision. The franchise's boldness in abandoning the cautious, ball control philosophy that defined recent campaigns signals an unshakable confidence in its cornerstone players' capacity to operate at a premier, championship level when granted full creative freedom to display their arsenal of talents. The burden resting on Patrick Mahomes to resurrect his MVP-caliber brilliance cannot be overstated. His legacy is inextricably tied to his ability to lead Kansas City back to football supremacy, with expectations from fans, teammates, and the media towering as high as ever, despite past setbacks. For an ordinary quarterback, such pressure might prove suffocating. For Mahomes, it could become the very fire that fuels another ascension to greatness. Surrounding him is arguably the deepest and most versatile supporting cast of his career, a perfect blend of battle-tested veterans and electrifying young stars that ensures adaptability against whatever schemes defenses dare to throw their way. Central to this offensive metamorphosis is the fortified offensive line, whose refined protection schemes and sharpened communication provide Mahomes the clean, stable pocket he needs to dissect defenses and deliver strikes with surgical precision. 2. Fully reclaim championship form. The Chiefs must rediscover the red zone ruthlessness that defined their title run. With Mahomes' transcendent arm talent, a constellation of receiving threats, and Andy Reid's ingenuity in play design, the formula exists for touchdowns over field goals in the game's defining moments. The chess match of game planning and rapid in-game adjustments will determine whether this offensive renaissance materializes or fades as a lofty illusion. The staff's ability to diagnose defensive wrinkles and counterpunch effectively will dictate the trajectory of the entire season. Just as important, the mental resilience of Mahomes, his decisiveness, fearlessness, and swagger must re-emerge to restore the aura that once made him the league's most daunting weapon. The synergy between Mahomes and his receivers will be paramount. Countless hours of reps, film study, and timing work will prove decisive when split-second reads dictate the outcomes of season-defining plays. And innovation remains Kansas City's DNA. Motion, misdirection, and exotic formations designed to sow chaos among defenders will be key to engineering explosive plays. Yet durability looms as the great equalizer. With the physical toll demanded of modern NFL skill players, the training and medical staff's ability to keep key contributors healthy could define whether this campaign fulfills its destiny or crumbles prematurely. Momentum, too, will shape the narrative. An early surge could ignite belief across the kingdom, while sluggish starts risk amplifying skepticism and external noise. The integration of emerging young talents will not merely provide depth, but could swing critical contests. Coaching ingenuity in carving out meaningful roles for these players will prove invaluable, particularly as the season grinds on. Every week's opponent presents distinct puzzles, and Kansas City's ability to tailor their strategy, staying ahead of the NFL's rapidly evolving offensive landscape, will be decisive. Leadership within the locker room will also be tested. Veterans must serve as anchors of composure and resilience, holding the team's focus firm when adversity strikes. The offensive line's continuity, communication, and chemistry will be indispensable in both protecting Mahomes and opening rushing lanes for balance. Precision route combinations, timing patterns, and creative spacing will maximize the unique gifts of each receiver, giving this passing game layers of versatility few defenses can counter. In the red zone, creativity and cold-blooded execution will separate the Chiefs from ordinary contenders. The ability to finish drives with touchdowns rather than settling for 3 points may very well define their postseason destiny. Beyond that, clock management, situational awareness, and Mahomes' composure in crunch time moments will ultimately decide whether the Chiefs restore their dynasty aura or fall victim once again to unfulfilled expectations. This journey demands more than talent. It requires balance, preparation, and execution. Kansas City must merge innovative wrinkles with their established system, ensuring clarity and precision across every player's role. The intensity of practices, the meticulousness of preparation, and the attention to detail, Monday through Saturday, will directly manifest under the unforgiving lights of Sunday. The NFL landscape was jolted following Super Bowl LII, where the Kansas City Chiefs endured a crushing 22-40 collapse at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles. This devastating defeat reverberated across the league, sparking a narrative that the once untouchable Chiefs dynasties may be teetering on the edge of decline. The franchise that had seemed invincible is now surrounded by doubt, forced to answer whether it can maintain elite status in an AFC growing more dangerous by the year. The fallout from that loss has cast a shadow of uncertainty over every layer of the organization. From the front office and coaching staff to the veterans and rookies alike, everyone recognizes that the 2025 season is more than just another campaign. It is a referendum on the Chiefs' legacy. Either they reclaim their throne or risk joining the ranks of dynasties that fizzled out, unable to sustain greatness. At the center of it all stands Patrick Mahomes, once viewed as untouchable, now carrying the heavy burden of redemption. The Eagles didn't just beat the Chiefs. They exposed cracks in Kansas City's armor that every opponent will now try to exploit. The pressure on Mahomes to prove his brilliance endures, and to show that the magic remains, is immense. Offensive firepower. Still intact despite the setback, Kansas City still boasts one of the league's most formidable arsenals. The offense begins and ends with Mahomes, whose arm strength, mobility, and improvisational genius keep him among the most elite quarterbacks in the sport. Travis Kelce, though in the later stages of his career, continues to be a matchup nightmare. His chemistry with Mahomes is so refined it borders on telepathic, with the pair consistently finding answers even in the most hostile situations. Kelce's route-running artistry and knack for separation make him indispensable. Rashee Rice has emerged as a reliable chain mover and vertical threat, developing into a receiver capable of thriving in traffic or stretching defenses deep. His versatility gives the Chiefs' offensive staff endless opportunities to craft mismatches. Enter Xavier Worthy, the burner every modern NFL offense craves. His ability to blow the top off defenses with pure speed adds a home run element that can tilt any game in an instant. With improved route precision and growing chemistry with Mahomes, Worthy looms as a breakout candidate in 2025. On the ground, Isaiah Pacheco provides balance and ferocity. His hard-nosed yet elusive running style makes him a nightmare in one-on-one situations, while his pass-catching ability forces defenses to remain honest. His versatility is a key to the Chiefs' unpredictability. The offensive line, often the overlooked backbone, continues to deliver. Their pass protection affords Mahomes the time to work his magic, while their run blocking creates lanes for Pacheco to keep the attack balanced. Defensive concerns mount, but on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs face far more daunting concerns. The loss of key defensive stalwarts has left glaring holes. The departure of Justin Reid is seismic. His versatility, leadership, and ability to command the secondary made him invaluable. Replacing both his production and presence will be one of the steepest challenges for the defensive staff. Meanwhile, the absence of Tershawn Wharton strips the defensive line of an important piece. His dual threat as a run stopper and pass rusher provided depth that will now be sorely missed. Without him, the Chiefs could face relentless pressure from opposing offenses across a grueling season. Chris Jones remains the immovable anchor, a defensive titan capable of wrecking game plans with his pass-rushing dominance and run-stopping force. Yet even a player of his caliber cannot carry the unit alone. Younger players must accelerate their growth, while veterans shoulder heavier responsibility to keep the defense afloat. The coaching staff faces the unenviable task of re-engineering chemistry, installing new wrinkles, and finding ways to maximize a reshaped roster. Fantasy football silver lining. While championship prospects may be clouded, there's no denying the Chiefs' offense holds immense fantasy football intrigue. Mahomes' arm, Kelsey's unmatched consistency, Rice's reliability, Worthy's explosive upside, and Pacheco's dual threat potential all ensure Kansas City players will remain hot commodities on draft boards. The Chiefs' dynasty has reached a critical crossroads. Will Mahomes restore Kansas City's aura of invincibility? Or will the cracks widen into collapse? Chiefs Kingdom, the 2025 season won't just be about wins and losses. It will be about legacy, resilience, and redemption. So, Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Can Mahomes and company reignite their offensive juggernaut and march back to championship glory? Drop your predictions below. Smash that if you're fired up for the season, and hit subscribe for non-stop Kansas City Chiefs news and analysis.